All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Absolutely Unnecessary. We were supposed to have a full squad in today. It was going to be 4 or 5 of us all chatting shit, but the boys are quite dim-witted in some respects, I think. So they booked an 11:45 tea time, missed it, and then booked back in to go. So they're playing golf right now.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah,
and then we're messaging and asking them where they are, and they don't reply to us. They send our producer, Ritz, a message and say, we're going to do a second podcast after the other podcast. So fuck knows what's going on.
So that was a second No, they're not. Yeah.
Yeah, on company time.
No, they are not. Yeah.
Not happening.
Yeah.
So any news going around? What have we had? We had Najee fight at Demolition.
Yeah.
Had a good win.
Yeah, Najee did good. We wanted him to grapple a bit, but the other guy dove on his legs 5 seconds in, so it wasn't really, because the other guy's old man's got like a striking gym. So we sort of expected him to strike a bit more, but then we sort of found out in the 90 obviously had guys from adrenaline in the corner been grappling a bit, so he was kind of fighting out of both places and went to the grapple. But Najee did well. He got taken down very much quickly at the start of the first round, but then got back up and he dominated the striking pretty well. I think he got taken down 2 or 3 times, but probably didn't get held down for more than a couple of seconds. So it's back up, so did really well. Yep.
Good on him. What weight was it at?
74, but I think his next one will be lightweight.
Right. He's got that under wraps a bit now.
Yeah. So I think he came in, it was super lightweight, so he could have been up to 75 or whatever, and I think he didn't. So came in 74 flat.
Perfect. That's good.
Yeah,
good.
So he's sort of like, and to be honest, he's actually fought a couple of larger, especially the last opponent were
big boy.
The last guy that made super lightweight, the one on path to Hex, was a really big lad.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go. So Joey's fight. So obviously we had Joey fight on Hex for the welterweight title. Pretty heartbreaking. Like it's definitely not like, sometimes you can look at these fights in isolation and sort of overvalue it in a sense. Like that loss doesn't take away Joey's body of work before that, and it doesn't put him in the worst position ever. It's just that it's tough from our point of view being so close to Joey, because he was right on the precipice of that call up to the UFC, which is, all of our ultimate dream. And once you get there and you lose a fight, it knocks you back a little bit, right? Yeah. And there's other avenues to go, and there's he'll work his way back there. But in terms of timelines and stuff, it's just it's you never want to see your teammates lose, but in that manner, it's tough.
Yeah, really tough. I mean, you probably now needs another 2 or 3 fights now to get back, into that selection window. I mean, he's probably in the selection window after 2, but there's no guarantees at all. He's very likely after 3 more wins. But he's still got to get them and get it together, and then it probably costs him could cost him up to a year in the UFC. But look, they're mainly going through contender series. If you give him 3 early fights next year, then you could possibly get back. And look, Joey's good enough. He didn't have the greatest night. Had a couple of but
not taking anything away from Jono. Jono had a great performance, and I thought Jono did some stuff exceptionally well.
Yeah,
like his balance and his ability to stay in the grapple and just go that one more time, not accepting any positions, was like world class. I think that's going to serve him well for his whole career. So
there's a few times I thought Joey had to take down dead to rights almost.
Yeah, and it was like he kept on his feet. Yeah. So nothing to take away there, but hopefully we get Joey was back training as he always is. He was back training 2 days later, and he's already back. He's already back striking again. I saw him putting on headgear to do a bit of work this morning at Andy's gym, so it was good.
Yeah, look, and that's also the thing, is he's just such a hard worker that you kind of, unfortunately, this sport's not always fair. And you just kind of, they're the ones from a coaching point of view that you kind of go, you just really like people that put in the work, get the results that they deserve.
No doubt.
And unfortunately,
no doubt
happens.
the rest of the Hex card was great. Like being back at Festival Hall
Great venue.
That was unbelievable. Like it was a serious fight show.
Yeah,
Like and
yeah.
even like the Fev thing, you and I were in Fev's corner, and like that brought a certain element, like a bit of it. I'm not huge on like the influencer or like celebrity boxing things in some respects, but in others, like I've kind of softened to it in recent times, because I think it all fizzles out eventually. And I was watching the other guys on that card, and I just used the example of Harry Webb because he was before that fight.
Yeah.
Right. And I look at the performance he had, and he's a good friend of mine, and there was eyes in there that 100% wouldn't have been there if it wasn't for the Fev fight.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. And you go, so the sort of integration of the two things for both sides of it to do better, is really good.
Yeah.
If you went in and you put like a full card on and it's all influencers and it doesn't really help anything else in the sport, then again, people will pay for what they're going to pay for, and I don't hate that. But the way that Hex did it was, I thought, it lifted the event up, and it lifted the guys who were on the card up with it.
Yeah.
So I thought it was done really well.
Yeah, look, that got a lot of radio coverage. It got a lot of, it was in the Herald Sun, it got a lot of that, which previous local cards don't. Like, you know, so it got more eyes on an event. Like, for a card that obviously got, the card got smashed with injuries.
Oh,
brutal. Weight misses and all that sort of stuff. So they did well to still get well over 3,000 people in the venue. 6 fights plus the Feb fight.
You feel for our boy Raja there as well. Hey, I think, he's had his last 3 fights that he's put in a camp for were the one that, what was the first one that fell through? Rex fell through. That fell through for a medical reason, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, so we got
the.
It got something. Something came back.
Something failed blood work.
Something irregular came back. So that fight got pulled after he'd.
Then he got cured for HIV or Hep, because he then fought again. I'm like, how can you fail that and then not have it and then fight somewhere else? But anyway.
But that was.
That was Wayne Day.
Yeah, that was on weigh-in day. So he made weight for that, and then what happened?
Jarrett Wilbraham, bicep rupture.
Yeah, so he was here. He'd done a full camp. We were doing 2 rounds in, 1 round off, me, him, and Al.
Yeah.
And I just did my last one and got out of the cage. He was doing his very last one.
15 seconds to go in the round.
Threw a left hook.
Yeah.
Al kind of stepped into it. Nobody had done anything wrong. Bang, ruptures his bicep, tears it completely. Goes through all the rehab for that. Comes back, fights Cody Haddon. Cody Haddon's a beast, catches Raja with a knee. It's like such a tough fight. Come back, you've spent all this time off, and you're coming back and fighting this up and comer.
He heard something else. I can't remember. Like, let's be honest, and no disrespect to Cody or to Raja, but he didn't get to train for the Cody fight.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
He didn't have a full session, like, for the whole camp. So he hadn't trained. I would have said he actually trained really hard for Rex.
Yeah.
And he actually had a pretty good camp, trained hard for Rex, and was good to go. Then Rex falls out. Then he was a bit injured, then didn't train quite as hard for Jarrett. But then the last week, like, watching those rounds with you and him that last night, I'm like, oh, fuck, he's on. He'll do good against Jarrett. Like, and then he ruptures his bicep 15 seconds to go in the last round of his camp. And so I was like, fuck, so 2 weeks out or whatever. So that was a bit of a bummer. And then the Cody fight, nothing. And then this one. No training at all.
And then this one, he makes weight again.
Yeah.
Like, I hate the idea of doing the camp and then not getting a fight. But if you lose it 2 weeks out, there can be a bit of a scramble, or then you can kind of push. You can just push a couple of weeks. You can find another show in a couple of weeks and try and get the right fight.
Yeah.
When you go through the process of making weight, and you do the full camp and then it falls through, it just puts you back weeks, because you can't go again straight away. You need to let your body recover a little bit. You need to, do all the things you need to do to get your body right again. So he's just had a fucking hell of a run, and I really hope that we,
And I don't normally do this. Like, I normally stay out of the fighters business, but that Rayner thing, you are a piece of shit. Like, you come out, you miss weight, you're almost like you're 4 or 5 kilos over. Jacob from the Hex goes to help him cut weight in the hotel. I don't know if you know the full story. He sits there, so he gets off the plane, he goes there to cut weight. They agree to 10 a.m. Wayne's. Jacob goes to cut weight with him till like 1 or 2 in the morning. He's 70 72, I think, 71, 72, when Jacob leaves him. Jacob goes back in the morning to check his weight, and he's 74.8, so he's like had 3 litres or more of fluid overnight or whatever. And then Raja still said, doesn't matter, I'll take the fight.
You anyway.
Whatever weight, even if he's fucking 80 kilos at the venue and he does a runner, won't show up. He then has to hide to, I believe he messaged you saying he missed by 400 grams or something. Yeah, like
not me. He messaged someone I know.
Yeah,
a female, which actually I think was a pretty common thing with him.
He was messaging girls everywhere and messaging like fucking people everywhere and talking shit and saying that he only missed by 400
grams. And then there was an argument and he wanted to fight, but he couldn't.
Yeah, and absolute bullshit. Hex was like,
true.
Raja said he'll fight it anyway. Doesn't care if he's 80 kilos. He the promotion tried to make it happen. Even right up on the night, the commission was really good. And said if you can get him here and they're within 10% of each other, even now at any one stage at one point in time, we'll redo the paper.
So you were saying, Raja, drink.
Yeah. So he was trying to get back up to 74. So if he turned up to the venue at 80 kilos, it still could have happened. And they were like ringing him non-stop all day. He did a runner, went around town. He's then hung around like, fucking making inspirational posts and fucking flexing in the mirror and carrying on like that, messaging people bullshit. He talked about the Hex boys and made out like Jacob tried to hop into bed with him because Jacob sat on the end of the bed while he's and basically tried to make out like Jacob was uncomfortable and inappropriate with him in the hotel room. He did. Like, wow. So
that is a wild accusation.
Not only do you
although Jacob,
I thought I was special, Jacob. You miss weight by 6 kilos and then you fucking won't turn up and then you throw mud at all the people that you fucked around. Like,
that's so fucked.
You're a piece of shit. Yeah. So, as I said, normally stay out of it, but just seeing what the guys did and then to throw mud at Raja and the promotion stuff after he did what he did.
That's fucked.
Yeah.
Did he fly back to India?
Only recently or whatever. So,
right.
He's a thug.
Anyway.
Lock him up.
So, and obviously, look, I suppose we've got to mention Kant Husmick's opponent missing by 7 or 8 kilos as well. But, that very disappointing. I mean, the people that miss by that, you miss the next weight class above. Pretty poor.
Yeah.
Anyway, we won't go there because I'm not sure where that one sits. Anyway, so where are we at to? Social media shame segment, or do we want to go straight into that?
Says I'm back training. You want to skip over me?
Well,
he doesn't give a fuck about me.
I've not seen much of it, to be honest. I
haven't been.
No.
So we have a bit of a return to training program Simon put together, and I would say I'm probably like on the 4th stage for the striking stuff.
I was going to say, I'd say 2 on.
No, I'd be in the stage 4 for striking, which is, back to light sparring, no wrestling involved, no sweeps or throws, anything where I might post on my arm. Full bag work, full pad work, which is good. And I did my 3 sessions this week, which is normally I usually do 3 sessions of pads a week, and I did my 3 this week and went really well. And then grappling still will take a little bit to get back. We've just got to build into it, but it's more so when I back training, more so I've got my schedule back. Like I'm not doing a full load, but I've got a full schedule. I'm doing proper sessions again. I can make do. I can go into a session and make it work for me regardless of how it goes. Next, we've got some social media stuff to go through. I think Ritz has put together a little cut. Now, I haven't seen any of this. I don't know what's going on.
Where are we going to start? Are we going to start? Well, what inspired it? Should we take it with what inspired it with? Well, there's a lot of shit stuff that the guys put out, but I think Sam Miles. Milky is fucking.
Milky, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I think like the take a photo of yourself in the mirror is only acceptable if it never sees the internet. Right? Like
I have a feeling I might have been. Have you got in? I want to know Rich's.
No. So a photo taken in a mirror with your own camera where you're looking at the camera.
Yeah.
That is one of the like biggest red flags you can have as a dude. Like just low T areas.
Yeah.
Oh no. and the you're not curling 50 kegs. He's got a 50 kilo weight in his hand.
I was only doing sets of 3.
And you're looking at yourself. Who took that photo for you?
Well, I've got 2 hands on the dumbbell, so
Who took it?
I don't know.
It was a timer, wasn't it?
What's that?
You put it on timer.
I did not.
You put it on a timer.
It was a guy. I'll get if it's a girl.
And you...
On the floor.
Oh, my God. Fucking hell, that's bad.
Oh, I knew fucking wanker. I wasn't doing
This is fucking horrendous.
Jeez, I tell you what, it's been a while since the arms have looked like that.
Samad, that's when Samad.
Oh
no! Look at his hair.
Go back on the photo.
Samad,
go back. I'm just like, no, oh God.
Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot for Samad.
Yes, that one. I reckon if you search cuck, that's the photo that comes.
We've got Harry found this. This one. There's a correlation here.
Oh, yeah.
Session 1 in the books.
That photo gets used so often
That's fucked.
What sparked?
Oh,
yeah, this is what it is. So this is gold.
This has to go up with that edited out, like the.
Are we allowed to show this? Like, is Victoria Police with?
That's a good point, actually.
Yeah. Sleep well. Good luck with the assignment. Apparently, you got VCE exams coming up or something.
Oh, don't. No, we can't. That has to get edited out. We can't even joke about that. It's clearly a university assignment, maybe even a postgraduate degree.
Let's be honest. If it's a postgraduate, she's not going to have much to talk with Sam about. Like, I don't think that's going to work.
Oh
Unless it's
my
like
God.
this assignment involves finger painting, then they're going to be on different levels.
Oh, what's it?
We got Tone.
Oh God, what's this? What even is that? I'm
Just
fine.
weight cutting.
But was this him talking about this and weight cutting when he?
Oh yeah, it was like it was a series, wasn't it? Yeah. Where it was like him in the sauna and like, and it was like, guys, you can stop messaging me. I'm cutting weight for a fight. I'm fine, guys.
What?
When?
Yeah, Tony's pretty cringe on the social media scale, to be perfectly honest.
Is that the worst of all the social medias?
The boys are pretty good.
Oh, come on.
They're pretty good.
Come on. The amount of shit
There was nothing Lisa.
Well, she gets rid of it. She doesn't have a digital footprint.
What about with the shorts backwards and shit like that? Like her, like, you know, where she went,
That's
like,
a good
loving
point.
my new shorts and the fucking on backwards.
She's fucked.
She, like, reminds me of, like, Ralph Wiggum on, like, you know, like, social media. Like,
that's a good comparison, actually.
When I could just see her in the shorts with the I'm helping meme, you know, like,
yeah.
I'm helping. Like, yeah.
We should do a Simpsons absolute, actually. Do you want me to read these ones out to you? A few questions.
Where would you be if you didn't find martial arts? Probably training racehorses.
What about you, Simo?
Jockey.
I wish I was skinny enough.
Yeah. I don't know, really. Look, I mean, I could do anything, you know, like, no, I don't know.
What's the annual income of a regional MMA pro? It's an oxymoron. There's no such thing as a regional MMA pro. Like, you can fight pro, but you're not a pro necessarily. You don't.
Yeah, it's like there's no one that would fight at, I won't say outside the UFC, because but you got to be a kind of global promotion at least.
There wouldn't be an MMA fighter that makes more money in a calendar year than a upper level country footballer gets paid in like the Highlands leagues and the Ballarat League and stuff.
100% a full timer at. No disrespect to that, but a full-timer on minimum wage working the checkouts at Woolworths would make more from that than any MMA fighter in Australia, not in the UFC or One or Rise, and 100%. One of their global promotions, like, or even your 100%. Regional champs. Wouldn't go close, even with sponsorship.
Let's just to put it out there, like, what's the highest purse that you've ever heard of being given to a local guy? Not someone, take out like somebody like a Jesse Taylor or someone who they flew in from overseas, or has a huge name in another sport. The stock standard starts in MMA, works his way up, and he's trying to get in the UFC. What's the highest purse?
So, and there's one more caveat to this is that you have a booked fight, that you are not jumping in on 12 hours notice when someone's missed weight. Because there are some And I think that really actually hurts the industry and market rates and stuff because people, there's been numbers like 10 grand and 8 grand and stuff like that thrown out for people.
That's a complete anomaly, though.
But, I would say
the very upper echelon, like the top guys in each division in Australia, would be at the absolute max getting $5,000 a fight. That's pay. Obviously, that's pay from the promotions.
I don't think anyone for a long-term book fight's getting 5.
No,
I think more like.
So
I would say
my highest. What was my highest? I got 3.
This is not throwing shades at any promotion. I'm going to tell you now. Yeah, I've run the promotion as well. Like
no.
They're not swimming in money, and they're not doing that's just all the money in the sport. Like that, the money's got to come from somewhere, right?
I would have made good money on Rogue.
Yeah.
Well, I did make good money on Rogue actually.
Yeah.
I think I got paid for Rogue somewhere in the vicinity of 7 or 8.
Yeah,
but that's because it was a split where we got really good deals with sponsorship and table and someone I brought businesses on board as a sponsor and that sort of stuff, which we've offered most of the fighters who come through. But that's pure purse. Like if we go outside of that, where it's just like, hey, show up and fight. What's your weight? Like the highest I ever got paid was it 2.8 or 3?
No, it was probably in the 3, maybe around the 3s.
3. Yeah, it wouldn't have been. It definitely wasn't over 4. Yeah. My last fights.
I've never got any one of my guys more than 4 in a local show.
Right, there you go.
That could just be an indictment on us. We could just be shit.
I could be really shit. I don't know.
We're going to get inbox like, I got paid fucking 8.
If you're a pro and say you get the $3,000, how much are you making from sponsorships as well, generally?
I would say not many get cash sponsorships at that.
Yeah, there wouldn't be many that get it. Like again, there's caveats. Like I was a little bit different. I had some really good sponsors early, but there was always a real clear delineation for me, which I've managed to which I tell people now is like a sponsorship on that level. Very, very rarely can you offer anything back to the business that's sponsoring you. Like all the people that you see that are sponsored by an electrical company or a plumbing company or a building company or whatever else, those people who might have some cash that they might have given to a football club or a junior sports team or something like that, and they go, hey, I want to sponsor a fighter. It's a one-way transaction. It's like, I have some cash through my business. I want to help you get to where you want to get. It's not a sponsorship in the sense of...
It's a gift.
Yeah, it's a gift. It's a gift, 100%. So you're relying on goodwill and, the connections you can make and how much you can get people to buy in on your journey and what you're saying you're going to do and that sort of thing. But again, I would have made in the local scene, like the biggest sponsorship I ever would have had was probably 5.
Yeah. Fight for one fight.
Yeah.
That's good. That's as good as I've,
yeah.
Most of the time there'd be very few that get much cash sponsorship. And then most of the time, the actual people sponsoring are not looking for a direct return. They're sort of more...
It's like helping you out. It's like I want to see you do well, so I'm going to give you like this to help out. And it's funny though, like I look at it now, like looking back, I had a guy after my first fight who wasn't wealthy by any means. He worked full-time and ran like a bricklaying company. And he gave me, after my first fight, he sponsored me and he gave me $1,000, I think.
Yeah.
$1,000. And he was like, I'll sponsor you. Here's $1,000. I was like, fuck, thanks heaps, mate. And at that time, like the $1,000 to me, I bought like new gloves, new shinnies, like some new runners, a couple of pairs of shorts. I think they were from like Hayabusa or someone. I didn't even know MA1 existed at the time. But it was like, for me at that time, it was like huge. It was like, I wouldn't have had access to that sort of stuff otherwise. So not discounting that stuff because it really does help in a big way. But when you talk about someone being a pro MMA fighter on the regional scene, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah. And I would say half the time that the costs of camp,
always
like, even directly, there's not many guys that work fight week. Raja normally needs to take the last 7 weeks off before a fight. He's over there shaking his head, but different guys want to take different amounts of time off. But I would say that most of the time, the revenue they lose from not working would be greater than their purse.
Yeah, right.
you take 2 weeks off coaching for most guys. That's the same as their purse. Or
Yeah.
so they're not really. It's like an investment, like doing an apprenticeship to try and get a job. That's how I kind of.
That's exactly how you look at it.
You're doing an apprenticeship to get a job at the end of it.
That's what makes it different, though, because it's an exceptionally hard
apprenticeship.
It's an exceptionally hard apprenticeship with no guarantees at the end.
Yeah,
like
100%.
with like you go through a
It
degree,
could be like a 10-year apprenticeship.
you go through a degree, right? And it's like, hey, I'm not earning money. I'm actually losing money to do this degree, right? But if you just show up to the classes and do bare minimum work, even if you're not, you don't have to be a dux of the class, you still, at the end of the day, you get your degree.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas in MMA, 99% of people leave it having never got anything from it.
Yeah.
Apart from whatever, internal success you might get, which I think is underrated a little bit. Like I think most people's lives get better after they get into MMA.
Especially if you have like a balance with everything. And some people turn that into their career as coaching or PT
for sure,
or whatever, or open schools, or they, so there's lots of different.
Who turned out to be nothing like you expected when you met them?
In the MMA scene.
Adesanya. Adesanya.
Oh, you mean like nothing like
you expected them to be?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, my perception of Adesanya, I liked Adesanya, especially like when he did his walkout where he did like the dance and stuff at Marvel. I was all about it. Like I loved it. But as far as his personality, I was like, I don't know if I would get along with him. Just given off what you see on TV, which isn't a fair judgment. But then when I met him, could not have been more gracious, friendly, easy to be around. Like he's one of the nicest guys you ever met. Like I would compare his personality, obviously very different people, but like he's as easy to get along with and as friendly as Volkanovski. But if you just took what they both see on TV, you wouldn't think that they'd be like that. But he absolutely is, like, in person, one of the best people I've ever met.
I've never heard anyone. Like, I've heard people talk shit about Izzy, but never anyone that's actually met him.
No.
And everyone that I have spoken to have been surprised on how open he is and, like, how... But the other thing, too, is, like, I believe he's, from what I hear, he's genuine. And he'll remember stuff that someone's met 8 years ago. I remember you from this thing. And he'll say something. He's, like, one of the people that, fills people's buckets, in terms of, gives them positive... like affirmation or whatever, but in a way that actually means something. Like, you'll remember
100%. The first time I met him, he came up to me from across the room and shook my hand and said, "Jack, I really wanted to meet you in Perth, but we ended up not catching up." This was at Hex. He said, "I really wanted to meet you in Perth, but we never caught up. I've been watching you for a long time. I love your leg kicks." He goes, "I've been watching your leg kicks since before you got in the UFC." Yeah. And I was like, obviously me, it's like, fuck, this guy's a world champion, one of the best to ever do it. Like, that's huge. Yeah. And then every time after that you met him, he backed that up, that it wasn't just him, networking or, trying to prove a point or something. That's just who he is. He's a great guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas when you hear that about Volk, whenever people ask me, "Oh, what's Volk like?" and I say, "He's a great bloke," everyone goes, "Yeah, he seems like a great bloke." Yeah. It's almost like that. It's just expected because that's his
persona.
Yeah, that's
he's a great dude.
He's a legend.
You'd expected it.
Yeah. Sean Strickland is exactly like what you expect. Like, he's exactly like what you expect.
I mean, I only you met him in Sydney as well.
Yeah. And we met him in Vegas. Okay, he was in at the PI. He was in Vegas. Cody Garbrandt, really friendly, really nice, easy to talk to. Dan Ige is exactly what you would expect of him. I don't know. Not really anyone else. Which athlete from another sport would dominate in MMA? I don't know. This is such a weird one because it's all about the intangibles. Like,
in other words,
stupid question. Yeah. What's
your
dream fight?
No. I mean, we could address, but I mean, you look at all, like, there'd just be so many good athletes but they've got to get trained. But you know what I mean? Like,
but like, I don't know. Like, so I wasn't necessarily gifted in a lot of sports. Like, I was never any good at footy or tennis, or I wasn't exceptionally gifted at anything like that. But I was always quite good at, like, wrestling. Like, I would wrestle against, like the footy boys and other people, and I would wrestle really well.
Yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily mean that just because you're good at other sports, it'll translate really well to.
Yeah, look, but most people that are good at like well coordinated, good athletic attributes.
Yeah. I think the sports that translate the best would be like the standard ones are the kids who like gymnastics.
Yeah.
Kids who are good at gymnastics, who have that frame. Rugby translates really well for a lot of guys. I mean, the proof's in the pudding there with Volk and other guys like that. And obviously wrestling, but wrestling is a skill, but I think it's kind of like
genetic attributes.
Genetic attributes of those guys as well.
You don't see many like really tall, skinny, lanky
No.
Wrestlers at the elite.
No.
Like body types for certain sports. The good thing about MMA is that everyone's body type has a chance.
Yeah.
Like that is actually like
for sure.
You know, like the tall and lanky. Well, then you got range and you can create distance.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of other different submission threats though. But if you're a short and stocky guy, you can do inside fighting. You can do that. That is one really cool thing about MMA. Is there's not one.
Yeah, and
body
generally
type.
Speaking, your balance will be better and that sort of stuff. What's your dream fight? My dream fight. It's hard to put a name on it because I just want to have a fight. Like, I want to be the main card of a fight at Rod Laver Arena. Like, I want to be the main event. I don't really care who the opponent is, whether it's like a fight night and for a number one contender spot or it is for a title, depending on whoever the champion is at the time. I just really want to have a fight in Melbourne and be the main event. That's my dream.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
You, Simon? Buchecha?
Yeah.
The rematch?
Yeah.
Or the Korean.
What's
the rematch
that?
against the Korean.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah. I tried to get that rematch.
Did you?
Yeah. Any part of it. Yeah. No, I don't know. I think we'll be past it. Let's be honest.
Past it.
Just
You still got your one contract.
Yeah, still got. They said they want to build my career. You know, I've only got 2 years to go. I'm sure. I'm just waiting by the phone.
I wonder if you came out. I wonder if they'd send you like a threatening letter if like you came out in like 10 years time and be like, I'm gonna have a local fight against another like older guy in town, and they were like, here's your contract, Mr. Carson. Yeah. You're still locked in.
Yeah,
it's like indentured fortitude. Those fucking contracts.
Yeah, well, I think after the 3.5
indentured
years,
fortitude,
I've still
indentured
got, like,
servitude.
Another 6 months to. Yeah. Well, I took a fight in Thailand at Phuket and then sent an email to try to get clearance and then couldn't, and then shat myself that I was going to get sued. So then I didn't hear back, so I pulled out. Oh, and it was literally like, just one of the fights at Bangalore, and I was like, oh, fuck, I just don't want to risk the...
Send your lawyers after me.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, that'll do.
All
Thanks,
right.
everybody.
Thank you.
Hopefully next week we have a crew in, as we were supposed to today.
Yeah.
All right, bye.
Thank you, bro.